I would like to show you first to talk a little bit how we came to the subject to go to the digital sphere with our content. And then in the middle of my talk, I will show you what we did. And at the end, I would like to talk a little bit about what that meant for our internal structure. So the Städel Museum, if you might know it, is not a very big museum in Frankfurt, in the middle of Germany. We have two phases, as we always say. We have an old wing dating from the 19th century, and we have a modern wing you see, or you not really see. It's underneath the green hill. It's our department of contemporary art, which we opened in 2012. Our museum is very easily structured in departments of old masters, modern art, and contemporary art. Now you see this wing under the green hill. And we have almost paintings and prints and drawings, very huge collection of prints and drawings, and some sculptures, but most of the sculptures are in the neighbor museum called Liebighaus. That has something to do with 19th century museum philosophy, as we just heard from Julien Chapuis, but this is another question. So art education is, since many years, a core task of our museum. But when before we reopened our new wing of contemporary art, we used the opportunity to rebrush the whole educational program. And we were asking ourselves, what is happening outside? How is society changing? And already at that time, we saw an increasing in-home entertainment, and there was a demographic change already going on, and society became more complex and diverse, and we had an increasing skepticism towards institutions and media, and which is paradox, but at the same time, people wanted to be more informed. And we thought that this has something to do with our work in our museum, so we thought it would be necessary to generate interest in the collection. It should be a main goal, and to keep its topics relevant. We wanted to let people find answers to complexity and diversity of their lives, and we wanted to create possibilities of lifelong learning, and we wanted to open our museum for a debating culture and create space for participation of the audience. And we thought that if our public is so diverse, we have to offer a vast variety of educational programs, because not only every visitor is different, but so is every visit. And it's not really right to categorize people only in perspective of their age. You can have other interests, changing interests. You can be the same person, but it's not good if you give a young mother only the family newsletter and not maybe the program for a special exhibition lecture, which she might be interested in also. So we try to have a variety of programs focusing also different types of persons. So there are people who like it more actively, and others who want to know everything really by deep knowledge, and others who want to communicate. Others are very curious and always are only interested in backstage informations. And so we have already in the analog program more than 50 different public educational formats. Already at that time, we saw just after the opening of our reopening of our museum, after the big physical enlargement, that the behavior of our audience changed deeply with the new technology of smartphones and everything which is connected with it. Not only young people. It went so rapidly that even my father, with more than 80 years, is very communicative on his smartphone. So you have this huge and tremendous change and transformation of media use. And we thought it would be time that museums react on this transformation. So we thought that if people find information only on in the web, it's important that museums are there where the people are. And if entertainment and private life is taking place online, we have to be there. And it's really vital for cultural institutions to offer also content in the digital sphere. But our way was not looking in the future, but the first step we did is to look back to our founder, because it happened that in 2015 we had our 200th birthday, and this was the occasion to look back. And for us, it was really a good occasion, because we really were confronted again with the purpose of our museum. Why Johann Friedrich Städel offered the first civic museum foundation in Germany. He donated not only his money but also his art collection to the citizens of Frankfurt. For the purpose of education. He was really keen on at that time, the most recent educational mode, the Enlightenment. So he was driven by this motive to found our museum. So for us, it was the question, what would Städel do today? And for us, it was very clear. He would use the new technology for the educational mandate he was so convinced of. So also for our team, the first thing we did is to think about a digital strategy. And the most important goal for us was to expand the museum's educational mandate into the digital realm. We wanted to reach out to new target groups, and we wanted to make the collection accessible, because in our house, because of the huge number of prints and drawings, we can show only 1% of our collection to the public. And we wanted to use new technologies for the museum's core tasks. But what we did not want to do is to create a virtual identity of our existing museums. Here you see the Dresden Kunstsammlung, they went on Second Life, so we are very glad that they did this experiment, because we could see that the audience is not interested in a virtual second life of a cultural institution, but in other things you offer digitally. But it's a great challenge to transfer educational methods from the analog to the digital. So we look back again to what functions in the analog way. So if you are in the museum, you could use the impulse of the original, if you're standing in front of it, on a non-verbal level. And it stimulates perception. You can convey information by the means of storytelling and the entertaining performance of a good art educator. And, of course, you have this close interaction between the public and the art educator. You don't have it in a digital sphere. And the biggest challenge in the digital sphere is that you have only 8 seconds to keep the interest of a digital user on your site. So what can you do? Because art normally is not the main topic people are looking for in the web. For us, it was clear that if we want to attract people's attention, we should use the advantages of the digital media. So it's multimedia content. And you have to divide the macrocosm of art into micro units and to use interactive tools and gamification methods to keep people online. And you have to look for a very diversified learning environment for a guided self-study, because everyone is different. You have those who only read the headlines, and others really want to go deep, and you won't lose both of them. And storytelling is even more important than in the analog way. In the digital, you need a very visual and example-based learning, otherwise it's very difficult to keep the attention of your audience. So between 2014 and today, we really launched a lot of things, not because we wanted to do a lot of things, but because our audience is so diversified, so everyone is looking for different things. And we had a good experience, because at the beginning we had discussions. Are there visitors going to your analog museum if you have it online? Yes, we have. We even have more visitors than before. And for us, it's very important that the digital enlargement of the museum enlarges also the visitor's journey, which now begins already at home. And then you have things you can use while visiting the museums, and then you have a lot of things you can use to deepen your interests and your knowledge again at home, whereas it's more comfortable than if you walk through a museum. So we have online communication, videos, and here also the possibility even to use subjects which are not so common in relationship to art. We have a cooperation with the Max Planck Society in Germany, where people from other departments, scientific departments, are talking about art, not about art, but about their subject in front of our artworks. It's a normal guided tour, but we film it, and so it is reused. The content of this lecture is reused in a digital way, so even people who could not attend to this guided tour on the special subject can know of it. And Dirk Notz, for example, that is, has a relationship to CODART, he was talking about the little ice time in front of our Falkenborg, the Flemish paintings, which shows the winter landscapes, for example. Website, blog, social media, those things many museums have right now. For us in social media, it's not only important to post our content, but even more to see what are people doing in our house. Which artworks do they photograph? Do they draw something, or what do they do at home if they have seen a still life in our museum, for example? We installed Wi-Fi in the whole museum, and now we have about 18% of all our visitors using the Wi-Fi. We had a Städel app, which was very successful, but I said had, because here is the first problem you have if you use digital things. The updates of Apple and Android lead to a point when after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it doesn't match anymore technically. And for cultural institutions, it's normally too expensive to reinvest in this app, so you have to create new things. This is the first disadvantage we had. One format we created newly was the so-called digitorials. I cannot show it online because we have no web here, but maybe you can use it if you go on our website. We have a digital point, and you see all our big exhibitions who had digitorials, and you can even see it on your smartphone. So what is a digitorial? A digitorial is for special exhibition a preparation course online, if you want to, where you already can get information about the content of the exhibition. It's not a marketing tool, but it's a combination of text, image, film, whatever, sound, and about special effects. Here you see an example of our Maniera exhibition. It was an exhibition about mannerism, and in mannerism, the gestures of hands are very important in the painting. And if you scroll, you see here, at first glance, only the hands, so it catches your attention on the main topic, which you read in the text, which is accompanying this thing. So you have a learning on multi-levels, so not only in the text, but you see at the same time what you read. Technically, it's supported by this format of a long pager. And you tell the main story. It could be about the artist or the context. You have meta information, so people who are more interested can deepen what they read. And we have different kinds of means, either the headlines or the kind of design and narration. It is an explorative knowledge acquisition because the user has to click what he wants to read and to see, and it uses multimedia interaction. So we invented many things to really to keep people interested in this subject. And we have different structures, so this is maybe a little bit theoretical, but you can see it if you click on one digitorial, you can see easily what is meant to be. And the design also always corresponds with the kind of subject treated in the digitorial. So this is the example of Tizian, and with this digitorial we won the Grimme Online Award, and this was one of the first times that cultural institutions got this award, and this opened a little bit the audience also for our digital offers. Which was interesting is that the digital users of the digitorial are a little bit younger than our analog museum visitors, but this is even more interesting. The normal museum visitor in Germany is female and older than 50 years old. In the digitorial, we have nearly a half-half male-female. So we reached a new audience, we can say. And because it's so, the tutorials have been so successful, we use it also now for subjects of the permanent collection, like here, Arts and Reformation, for example. And with the tutorials also on artists, our future goal is to have the tutorials in Google that you find not only the Wikipedia article, but also the tutorials. Then we did a computer game for children and an online course on modern art because we wanted to go even deeper in this learning kind of development of educative tools. And if you have here, for example, as an objective to recognize the structure of the abstract composition, the arrangement of elements, or the light effects and transparency, or here to train visual perception or to recognize the surreal in the real. And here, the problem is that people today do not see the abstraction in such a painting. So what we did is an online course on modern art. I hope that it works now.
And why is it art if an artwork is photographed by someone? What is this all about? This is supposed to be modern art? Modern art is something for experts. Sounds good, but it's as wrong as most of the other pretensions about modern art. This online course will examine and explore selected works of the Städel collection.
So what is meant to be for a public which is not a scientific public can even reach the scientific area, because, for example, the digitorials are now used as a format also of research. There's a European project called ARTIS, and they are deeply into examining the ephemera architecture in royal entries, for example. And they use this technique to visualize also in a research context what artists did at that time. So we have many use cases of this development. The time machine you already know, because your member Frau Polmer-Schmidt, Mrs. Polmer-Schmidt already told you in, where is she? Yeah, there. She already told you in Madrid, I think, what's going on here. This is a 3D reconstruction of the historical presentation of the Städel collection in the 19th century. And what was meant to be a research result, which normally ends in a book and which is consulted in a library by specialists, now we can have it as a 3D with these glasses you can see, and we really do now once a month public guided tours in our museum, because we have this old wing still, and so we can compare the today presentation of art and the former presentation in the 19th century, and normal people are interested in such a special subject. Here you see a member of the group. Then the news project is an interview project of the art scene in Germany between 1969 and 1989. And our biggest project still going on is the Städel digital collection. And we started with, we looked again, what do people do in our museum? And we started with different way to look at art. And we started with a better version in 2015. And our goal was not only to be a platform for people who know what they are looking for, but also for all other people just strolling around through our collection. And we wanted to show not only the single artwork, but also the multi-level connections to other artworks in our house. And therefore we needed a very deep key wording structure, which was very difficult because at the beginning we did not have the money and did not have the people to do it. But we had some goals, we had results, but our learning was the first beta version was not yet what we wanted to do. And this was the point where we learned that it doesn't work like this anymore, that you have, that you begin with a plan, then you implement things, and then at the end you only look if it's going well. But you have this agile processes where you have always, all the time to work on things, and then you make it better, and you're constantly working on these projects. Now our digital collection looks like this. We have different kinds of entries, so you can entry like just you click on what you see, what you're interested. You can really search deeply, and here we have a more playful thing. If you press the right button, the keywords changes, and also the pictures are changing. So people who don't know the connection between keywords and artworks learn very quickly how to use the digital platform. So we have a very deep information level. Even you have the icon class notification and everything you need. But you have also, you can click still life, landscape, but even more things which are not so common in art history. If you look for very light kind of atmosphere in paintings, you can also look for more specific things. Well, this transformation in our house led to a very deep change management, which I would say is not really accomplished in all departments, and it's a very difficult thing and process. The first thing we learned that you cannot do this if you stick to a strong division between departments. So we founded not a digital department, but we founded a strategy team of different members of different departments. And together with our director, we had a digital mission statement, and then for every single product, we founded these working groups with people from all kinds of departments, curators and education and marketing, press department, and even the external partners who helped us to realize. And because only with this multi-perspective point of view, you can realize those kind of products which are so rapidly changing technically, but also towards the habits of your audience. So our learnings have been very diverse. So most of things were successful, but what we didn't expect was that our classical communication channels, like the feuilleton, print feuilleton in Germany, that didn't mention one word of our digital things. So for us it was difficult because we had to communicate what we have. We had to establish new channels. And we had to look to the change of the quick user habits. We have to analyze our data, and we have to change things which we see that they don't work well. What is happening in the future? We don't know. I just saw some weeks ago a robot doing a guided tour. It didn't convince me. But in our house, digital projects are, at least in the moment, not a source of income because everything is free. Not a marketing tool and no replacement for a museum visit, of course, but a great chance to increase outreach and impact of our museum and to stimulate interest in art among new target groups. It's a means to transport cultural content into the digital realm, and for us, a very important field of experimentation of new didactical methods and formats of knowledge transfer for a new intensive learning experience. Thank you.